Not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour. You're tuned in to Hoppe Hour, an hour where Hoppe rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Hoppe Hour is on now. Hoppe Hour is on now.
Yo, what's up? It's Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And for the next hour, for this Labor Day, my goal is to change the way you think about things. For the next hour, I want my rants and my opinions to broaden your horizon. Call the show. It is an open forum. 856-49-HOPPE. That's 856-49-HOPPE. But the thing is this. I can rant, read the news, and do the show, but I can't answer phones at the same time because I don't have a phone screener. So when I say all phone lines are open, call me at 856-49-HOPPE. Also, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and I will be sure to look at it during the break. And if you have the Hoppe Radio app, which you can get in the Google Play and iPhone shop, search up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio, and there's a cool feature there. When I'm doing the show live, you can check me out. Oh, man. We have so much to get into, so let's just get right into it. I don't get how the media and people, they sit there and they bitch and moan about the swimmer that raped that girl or that frat boy that raped that girl. Those dudes are horrible human beings, and they should have been what we think of when we think about women getting taken advantage of and getting raped. But no, the swimmer wasn't enough. But no, the frat boy that gave her ecstasy and then threw her behind a garbage can and had sex with her in an alley, that wasn't enough. This next case should prove the point that athletes cannot get away with it. Just because you're macho and you're good at sports doesn't mean diddly squat. If this next case that the media has not talked about at all because they're afraid of it, because it's very juicy, if this next case doesn't change the way people think about how we need to be harder on these rapists, including if they're famous or rich athletes, if this case doesn't change anything, we are doomed. Now, I grew up a die-hard Chicago sports fan. I'm from Chicago. Grew up on the 03 Cubs, grew up on the Bears in 07, but my favorite memories come from what seemed like the cool guy of Derrick Rose. He came into the league in 2009 after going to the NCAA finals for the Memphis Tigers. I've been a huge fan. He was the guy that was supposed to take over Chicago. He was supposed to take down the Miami Heat. Never happened. The injuries happened. But Derrick Rose always came off like the guy that cared about his kid. He came off like the guy that had that Skittles machine in his house. Very likable. He's just a big kid from a bad neighborhood in Chicago, Englewood, and now look at him. He's big. He was supposed to be the next big thing. So little did we know that Derrick Rose, the guy that was the MVP for the Bulls in 2011, the guy that was a mama's boy, the guy that, could have been the next big thing, and probably won't because he's going to keep on getting injured. He is the same type of person that there are creepy details into a potential gang rape that he was involved in. And no, I don't get this news headline from any of the national media sources. I don't get this news headline from, let's say, a TV network. I had to get it from the learn spot of Twitter, the middle button on the app where you see everything that's going on in the news. And it took me to a link, thinkprogress.org. When a blog has the juicy details, but the news media doesn't, that's why these incidents keep happening, is because we're not charging the criminals like we should. And all right, I got this here. On August 26, 2015, so over a year ago, Jane Doe filed a civil suit against Rose and two of his closest friends, Randall Hampton and Ryan Allen. They spent 2 years in Los Angeles during the off season, and during those times, the three men drugged Jane Doe. Then hours later, they left her in her apartment where she was unconscious. So they go to a party, supposedly, and they get the girl drunk, and Derrick Rose and three of his boys allegedly gang raped her. When I heard this, my heart sank. I will never, ever be able to look at Derrick Rose ever again the same way. And I know you might say I'm a hypocrite because I was a Kobe fan and I kind of like Big Ben, but at the same time, the juicy details that are in this article are going to make you look at him a completely different way. Here was the headline that TMZ gave them. Derrick Rose, accuser, consented to group sex, got furious over a sex toy. Now, I'm not a guy that judges anybody for getting into group sex. If you're kinky, we have one life. Do whatever you want. But I just never saw Derrick Rose as a guy that would be into group sex. I just find it kind of weird. Like, maybe it's just because I'm from Chicago and a good portion of my listeners come from Tampa. You guys might not care about Derrick Rose, but I'm just saying, he came off like the really likable dude that maybe cheats on his girl, had a kid on a wedlock, but he's a good dude. I never would think he would potentially be gang raping a girl. That is what's so messed up about this. In June 2016, so about 3 months ago, Rose filed a motion for summary judgment, alleging that the case should be thrown out, just rip it up, pretend it didn't exist, kind of like we did with every athlete ever, if they're guilty or not. Just rip it up, put it under the rug, get the vacuum, and just forget that this ever happened, potentially. The motion was denied because the judge concluded that there was a genuine dispute of material fact as the central action. There's too much evidence as of right now. While interest in the case has been picking up over the past few weeks, it has been ignored over the last year, to the point that our website is one of the few covering it. Well, I agree there. Also says here, but Rose's case demands attention. In the past few months, it has become apparent that the case shares dangerous details with other high-profile cases that are very similar to famous athletes. So things keep heating up on this, and Derrick Rose must know somebody in the media who helped him sweep this under the rug. I don't know if he has a real-life Ray Donovan or a fixer that's helping him, but the details that I'm about to read to you are sickening. If it was some thug athlete from the NFL, it would be just as bad, but it wouldn't be surprising. But when it's everyone's favorite pretty boy that everyone was rooting for, Derrick Rose, when you find out what I'm about to read to you, you're going to be sick to yourself. All right. They want to have the name of the victim, Jane Doe, to be released. And here's why. Rose's attorneys wanted the alleged victim's name to be a matter of public record and to be used freely in the upcoming trial. Currently, Doe's attorneys are offering a compromise, saying that the alleged victim's names can be used in the trial, but that her name will be limited to Jane Doe to the media. Rose's lawyers have not agreed to the compromise. They actually had an opinion to that. It's pure and simple that Derrick Rose is being ripped off by a plaintiff who wants to hide behind the cloak of anonymity while seeking millions in damages. It's not that she's hiding behind anonymity. To me, someone that's hiding behind anonymity is someone that tries to blow up a school and then gets caught and then goes to court and the media never talks about him. That's someone that shouldn't be anonymous. When you potentially are getting gang raped by a top-tier player in the NBA, that's pretty, embarrassing. Of course they're not going to release the name of her, you imbeciles. Good riddance. You must have hired the most scummiest, slimiest lawyer ever. So basically, here's how he first met Jane Doe. It gets juicier. He invited her and her friend Jessica to the rental house in Beverly Hills, where Rose was in the off-season, on August 26th. Rose sent a car to pick up Doe and her friend, but the car went to the wrong location and ended up being 3 hours late. While they were waiting, Doe and her friend drank vodka, and once in the car, a few servings of wine. So they were pretty drunk while going to Derrick Rose's house. And now, if I'm a girl, I don't care if it's Chris Brown's house, I don't care if it's Paul McCartney's house or Derrick Rose's house. I don't get when a guy or a girl comes really drunk and inebriated to a famous person's house. To me, that's when you have the issues. But maybe it's just me, this little podcast out of Tampa. But I kind of get the vibe that if you're a regular person in this world, you might be better if you come sober to a famous person's house. I'm just saying, guy or girl. The parties disagree with this part, whether it was consensual sex that occurred at the party that night. But hours after the girls came, they went home in a cab. But Derrick Rose and Jane Doe continued to send texts back and forth. She wanted to come over alone, while he wanted to send his friends to come pick her up like a limo and then bring her to his house. And then afterwards, it says here, she would be dropped off. So Derrick Rose views women as, okay, I want to order the pizza with the pepperoni and the sausage. All right, deliver it. I'll eat it. I'll enjoy it. And then I'm going to drop it off and throw it out. That's basically what he's doing when he's saying to his friends, go pick up this girl. I'll have sex with her. And then we'll drop her off, you know? I mean, this is the guy that was supposedly thanking God when he was so good on the Bulls. And then you find out this about him. All right. I got some of the texts here. Oh my God. They are some of the juiciest texts you will ever see from any athlete. Because they're just so filthy and the grammar is so awful that once again, you're not surprised that the grammar's awful and that it doesn't make sense because it's Derrick Rose who cheated on the SAT at Memphis. But at the same time, you don't think he would have this in him. The first text he sent, when he sent text to her over and over that night, just in a row, that dude was horny out of his mind. I can't wait to give my pee tonight, as in the word. Derrick Rose again to the girl. Send a video. Derrick Rose again 2 minutes later. Send me a video. Derrick Rose, I'll keep it clean here. I want to see you climax. And there's another way they said it, but I'll keep it clean. Let me know when you send it. And this is between 1:30 in the afternoon and 1:37. He's sending these texts over and over. Let me know when you send it. What does that even mean? Let me know when you send it. She wouldn't need to let you know if she sent it because it would show up to your phone, dumbass. Was you able to send it or not? I mean, if you got those texts and you were the father of, let's say, a 17-year-old girl and a creepy 25-year-old was talking to your daughter like that, the dad would want to kill him. Or if you had a girlfriend or a fiance or a wife and a dude was talking like that over and over to your girl, you'd want to kick his ass. But when it's Derrick Rose, nobody talks about it. We sweep it under the rug, and it's utterly ridiculous. And here are some of the things that they asked him in a group session about what happened that night. And I'm not trying to dwell on it and be weird and dirty as a show, but I feel like since I'm kind of in the media, I do a podcast, I work in radio, but I'm not on radio, I feel like it's my job to express my opinion. And I just find this sickening that we're talking about Kaepernick not sitting down, or not getting on his feet rather, but we don't even talk about this. So they asked him what happened. I wanted her to bring a friend over for a threesome. But yeah, she didn't, but she did. So the guy says, did you have a threesome, Derrick? And Derrick's answer is, no, yeah, she did. So that's the quote of what he said to this guy that was interviewing him. That sounds like a dude that's guilty that has no idea what he's saying. The guy says, did you try to have a threesome with her? I don't think it played out that way. Nah, I didn't try. And it says that. It's how he's saying it. They said, wouldn't there need to be consent for you to have sex with her? And his response is, uh-huh. Have you ever had a threesome or a foursome with Jane Doe? Rose goes, no. All the other times that you pushed the issue with her and she refused, you didn't go after her, right? Uh-huh. So he's just sitting in this interview on a very important issue, and his answers are him babbling like a moron, or him going, uh-huh, yeah, I'll let my lawyers deal with it. All right. This is where you will never, ever look at Rose again the same way. These are the texts that have been found of him sending it over and over. All right. This is him sending a text to Jane Doe after she got home that night. When y'all finna do? Hit me up by yourself, not your friends. The girl, or him. She was weak. You trying to come back? But anyway, F that B. I left my belt and my SYO in the bathroom, and you need to come get me right now. I'm going to have that guy come pick you up and then drop you off. Come with him, babe. And this is over and over and over and over and over again. This is what he's sending her over and over, like a madman. If this was a guy from Tinder that was talking to a girl, she would feel creeped out. Make sure you come here and we make sure you get to work. That's a part of the Derrick Rose service. I'll pick you up, and then we'll make sure you get to work the next day. Maybe a shower, maybe not, but we'll make sure you get home. I want you here too badly. Keep bringing you back here. He already on his way. He turned around, I guess, to pick you up. And now we don't see the responses from her, but I'm assuming she's not that into it because he's pushing the whole problem over and over. He's not exactly being a Casanova or a really smooth guy. You can tell that he just wants to get his rocks off and he doesn't care. Here's what the guy says, the guy that interviewed him for the evidence. He goes, why did you think you were going to her house at night? What was the point? Nah. Hey, it's the middle of the night. Let's go over to her house. But we never had a reason. We just wanted to go. But yeah, we are men. You can assume what we're about. Last time I checked, Derrick Rose, saying we are men doesn't mean that you and your 3 friends potentially gang raped the girl and that makes it right. We are men. She should know what she expects when I'm coming over at 2:30 in the morning. It's basically what he's saying. Is, hey, she better know what's coming because I'm Derrick Rose, man. We're not playing card games or anything. That's basically what he's saying when he says we are men. Now, we are men. We are men. So basically it says it'll all come down to evidence and what happens. And there's a few more texts, him just trying to get her to come over again. He texts her all the time. And here's the last text before I go to break. Here's what the girl sent to him. Your action has made me lose faith in you. I'm discovering what your intentions were that night. It's become very detrimental to my mindset, living in this situation that I don't want to live in. I'm losing friends over it. I'm not getting sleep. That's the thing, too, is Derrick Rose is a bad person for doing this. Like, if he's found guilty, and they may never be able to prove the evidence, but he literally affected her and her mindset because he wanted to get his rocks off. And I've spent about 20 minutes talking about Derrick Rose, and it's because me talking about it for 20 minutes is more coverage than it's going to get this whole week or this next week, unless there's some inside scoop that goes to one of the national TV networks. It's a very uncomfortable case. When I was reading it the first time, I was creeped out. I didn't like it at all. I was like, what the hell? This cannot be Derrick Rose. But you just have to look at him a different way. It's not even like a he said, she said thing. You see how vulgar and demeaning and rude and pathetic and creepy those texts are. He doesn't care about anybody's emotions or being a good person or this family man and role model that he was supposedly in Chicago when we were actually rooting for him over LeBron, who's never done anything. It's just sad to know that the guys that you look up to are usually the ones that are creepy. And the ones that we hate, because they're the villains like LeBron and like Dwayne Wade, are the good guys. All right, the phone lines are open. 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. And if you have the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop, search up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio. You can listen anywhere in the world and you can chat me live. Like I said before, I'm looking to have unsigned artists. And I'm looking to have bands that don't have a copyright so that Facebook Live won't get shut down because they got mad when I was playing copyrighted music. If you want to hear your music get played in between breaks on Hoppe Hour, email me, ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. Because this is a song that I'm going to play if Rap Don't Work by the Bogus Boys. And I've played this 100 times, but I don't have any music right now that's not licensed. So we will be right back on Hoppe Hour after this. Do not touch that computer mouse, that tablet, or however the hell you are listening to this riveting show known as Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour.
I am so out of breath. Holy crap.
Before I even knew how to rap. Follow you round, find out where you hide it at. Okay, tell you walk, turn around, make you back. That's right. Matter of fact, tell whoever you plug with, try to tax me, I get on some stick up shit. I say it's a goal, running your crib, lay you on the floor, put the polio wheel, like you know what this is, homie, open that safe. You either lower that quick or catch a hole in your face. See, around the way I'm known for doing home and fade, all types of grimy licks, nigga, you name it. South business, gotta get it, pimpin', I'm about money. That's what I happen.
I know, when I get close, it's like Sloth from the Goonies is peeking in your window.
I'm in the kitchen, nigga, cooking up rock. We make it pop, pop. I'm good with the pop. Now what it do? We ready to rock. I keep my faith on my mind. Stay on the grind. You never catch a hustler struggling, that's out of line. We steady flipping zippers, flipping dimes, and I bet you ain't with it.
I love when people send me tweets, but it makes no sense because they've been talking up and down for like 20 minutes. So you check in and you're like, what does this even mean? Sup, Robert, TJ, how's it going?
Stick his ass up fast for that little cash. Give it up. You want it done right, better do it yourself. The more mix you hit it with, the quicker it melt. I'm in the telly with some baggies in the digital. County in the back, mixing up the chemicals. Yeah, if raps don't work, and niggas still gotta eat. You wanna be big Ruger, keep a lot of heat. Yeah, even my baby mama keep it in the baby seat. Show money, blow money every other week. Rap don't work, it's back to the block. I'm in the kitchen, nigga, cooking up rock. I'm good with the pop, now what it do? We ready to rock. If rap don't work, I ain't finna trip. I'ma take it to the block and drop another zip. That rat sitting back watching Dro Tip. $100 bills busting out the money clip. Another hit, check the spins on the BDS. I'm a star and they ain't see me on the TV yet. Even if it's wet, I'ma make it flip. Rap don't work, it's back out of town taking trips.
Hey, Mooney, I see you got your buzz up, but if rapping don't work for you, what you gonna do?
Back to the block, baby.
There you have it.
It's back to the block.
Call Hoppe now. 856-49-HOPPE. Tweet at him at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Or chat him live via the Hoppe Radio app. Live from Tampa Bay, you are tuned in to Hoppe Hour.
All right, welcome back to Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And I just went off for 20 minutes about Derrick Rose and those creepy rape things that he is involved in right now. All the evidence that is kind of against him. And I want to cheer you guys up a little bit. So I feel like sometimes it's me ranting on the show, and the problem is it gets very negative, and then people seem to like the rants, but then they're like, oh my God, we don't know the nice side of Hoppy. So I had a very good weekend. I don't know. It wasn't that the first 22 years of my life that I have awful birthdays, because I turned 23 on Saturday, on September 3rd, at 3 p.m. The thing is, I didn't have any siblings growing up, so I was very awkward where I didn't really make friends until second or third grade. So all my memories of my birthday were me eating cake, usually around Labor Day, and hanging out with my aunts and my uncle, or my mom and my dad ordering deep dish pizza or a beef sandwich from Chicago. So this year I had a really great time. It was the first time actually on my birthday that it almost like rejuvenated my passion and just my outlook on life. I had so much fun hanging out with Spanish, Carmen, Blaine, Kelly, I had a brain freeze there, Rob, Kaylin. I had a really good time hanging out with everybody, and Dominic Fabiscus and Chip for coming out. I had a really good time because the other thing that's weird about my birthday is that my dad passed away 2 years after 2 months rather, after I turned 21 in November, like the day before Thanksgiving. So the 21st birthday was kind of the weird one because it was the last one with him. And when you turn 21, you think you're going to be 21 forever. So now that's going on more than 2 years now. I want to share you the time when I went out the night before, drinking at my friend's house, because I didn't have a driver's license yet, so I couldn't go out drinking legally yet. So I was drinking at my friend's house on September 2nd, 2014, going into September 3rd, when I came home. And I was so hungover. It's like 11 a.m. The sun is out. It's a nice fall day, late summer. And I remember all of a sudden, and me and my dad didn't really get along. Like, whenever I was watching TV, he didn't approve of the shows that I liked, or me listening to Opie and Anthony or Howard. So a lot of times he would have the door in his room closed. But I remember when I came home, I immediately hear, like, clapping, and he's playing a song. Now, I'm not usually a fan of the Beatles by any means, because I'm just kind of sucked into rap. But I'll never forget when he played a little bit of this song, Happy Birthday by the Beatles. And the annoying thing is, I was so hungover and so ungrateful as a 21-year-old that I think I was glad that my dad was happy and was saying happy 21st. And I think I was appreciating that my dad made me a nice card. But I think the problem was you're so ungrateful when you're younger. By no means am I old. I'm 23. But when you're 21, you think you know everything and you're going to be 21 forever. And I feel like a part of me didn't really appreciate that moment. But nonetheless, you look back and you enjoy it and you hold on to it. And I just said that because I want you to know the sentimental side of me, if there is one. I'm not always the loudmouth that rants about controversial issues, but here's the deal. I'm about to become a person that talks about controversial issues right now. All right. Here's the thing. I told the show like 9 days ago when the whole Kaepernick thing came out, I said I wasn't going to talk about it because I thought it would go away. Thought our fake outrage would go away. But this is going to be an all-season-long problem because the media loves it. It's clickbait. And there's going to be 16 weeks of this dude who's on the bench that we shouldn't care about since he hasn't been good since 2012 not getting up during the anthem. And I thought, maybe it can go away. Maybe this outrage of, I'm more American than you and Kaepernick, I was hoping that would go away. But this next issue is actually worse by how the police are responding because it just brings the issue out even more. At a time when this country needs to come together, officers should not be boycotting the 49ers game just because of Kaepernick. I love cops. I respect them. They have more balls than me. They're manlier. They're good guys. They put their life on a line. I do think there's a lot of dirty cops. But we need to begin appreciating cops more, and we're getting better at it. After Dallas and the Pulse nightclub incident, it seems like things were looking up for how we viewed cops. But then it says here, this is from Fox 5 in Atlanta, that officers may boycott the 49ers games because of Kaepernick. Huh? You're going to let one little rich, overrated, entitled douchebag quarterback with the IQ of his quarterback rating, which isn't very high, you're going to let him dictate because of what he said about cops, that little punk-ass bitch that wouldn't say it to any of their face? You're going to let that dictate if people will be safe or not at the games? Get the hell out of here. The Union for Police Officers who work San Francisco 49ers home games say that its members may boycott protecting the place where the 49ers play if the 49ers don't discipline Kaepernick for refusing to get on his feet during the anthem. That literally makes no sense. Kaepernick not getting on his feet is actually making things tenser. And I'm not saying that the Bay Area fans are violent, but there was that incident with the Los Angeles Dodgers fan like 6 or 7 years ago. There's issues with the fan base. They're great, loyal fans. But at a time like this, where it's a tourist city, and you might have, let's say, the Giants in town, and the Giant fans or Eagle fans, some of the intense East Coast fan bases, if they're coming to visit the 49ers, there's going to be tension. And that is the decision, and that is how important it is that the police officers go to these games, because you need to serve and protect us. Don't let this little bitch, this little rodent, this moronic quarterback dictate if we will be safe or not if we go to a 49ers game. Doing a protest over Kaepernick and his socks. It was a cartoon pig. Get it? It's a pig, like they call the cops pigs. You're freaking out over that? Ugh. Here's what the cops said. About 70 police officers feel threatened with their working relationship. You don't work with Kaepernick! You work with the city of San Francisco, and you work with whatever agency, or you work with the 49ers. However it works, you're not working with the actual team. Like 2 years ago when Frank Gore was on the team, you weren't working with him. You weren't working with Harbaugh. You're working to protect these fans that are paying a lot of money to go see the games. And with the tension that's going on in this country, it is your job to protect us. And for you guys to possibly not go to a game over Kaepernick, get the hell out of here. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I try not to be edgy and not to get mad, but, you would think this would be the time we need them more than ever. And to have over 70 cops outraged over it. Get over yourself. God damn it. Here's what the board of directors of Santa Clara Police Officers Association had to say. Here's the release they sent to the media. Oh, it's good. If the 49ers organization fails to take action to prevent this type of inappropriate behavior, it could result in police choosing not to work at your games. It says here, the board of directors for the Santa Clara Police Department has the right to work in a working environment free of harassing behavior. Maybe I got it wrong. But isn't the point of being a police officer is to serve and to protect? Call me if I got it wrong. But you would think with the working environment that's very tense right now, and you guys are feeling the tension, the Santa Clara Police Department. They have more balls than me. They're harder working than me. I could never be in their shoes. But for them to say that they don't like the working conditions right now. That's what you're paid for, to fight adversity and to keep us safe. That's like going to Camden, New Jersey, or Gary, Indiana, or the west or south side of Chicago, and being like, I don't know. I don't like these working conditions. Huh? Are you out of your mind? Here's what Kaepernick said. This is a message that there are a lot of issues in this country that we need to deal with. That's the thing with Kaepernick, too. I saw an article from the San Francisco Gate, and I believe it was either a former mayor or somebody that worked in the office in San Francisco for the mayor, one of the previous mayors. He was saying that he thinks that Kaepernick is kind of just saying what's on his mind and just going with the momentum and the attention that he's getting. And he's kind of, to me, like Trump. He's just spewing out things. Fix the economy. Brondo cures plants. I like money. He's literally no different than the guys from Idiocracy. He's just saying, our country has issues. Racism. Black Lives Matter. Clean out your cat's litter box. Make sure you get your oil changed in your car. He's literally spewing out the most random nonsense, and the media is getting mad over it. And since he's a moronic narcissist, he knows what he's doing is getting under people's skin. And since he's not going to have a good season this year because he got benched, this is the most attention he might ever get, ever. So if you guys hate Kaepernick and you think he's so awful, God, he's the worst. You know what you should do? Is the police department for Santa Clara should ignore him and be bigger men. And the media that is so outraged 10 days later. Because, yeah, he's not going to get on his... Yeah, because he's going to get on his feet during week 5. What is the point of covering it over and over? So the media that's so offended. And the police department. If you guys really don't like Kaepernick and you think he's a prick and he's a piece of dirt and he's a loser and he's entitled and he's worth more than $100 million and he's just not a good guy at all, if that's how you feel, be the bigger man, come up to the plate, swing a home run, throw a Hail Mary touchdown, and be the bigger man and serve and protect this country into the media, cover news that is actually original and don't debate about this all the time. I'm just saying, call the show. I'm going to go to break, but the phone lines are now open, and I will put you on hold. 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. We will be right back on Hoppe Hour. After this, do not touch that computer mouse, that tablet, however the hell you're listening to the show known as Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Hoppe Hour podcast. And I'm here today to talk about my new sponsor, Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, which carries T-Mobile, Go Smart Mobile, Simple Mobile, and Ultra Mobile services. All of their plans are no contract, so you don't have to worry about that. And they are powered by the T-Mobile network. They have an unlimited plan for any budget. So maybe you're behind on bills and you don't have a lot of money right now, but you want to have an unlimited plan. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the place to go to. You can bring in your own device or take advantage of their large assortment of handsets. If you bring in your old device from another carrier, you can get a free phone with no contract if you transfer your number from the other carrier. So that is one of the most badass features about that. One of the best things about Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is they carry a full assortment of accessories for your tablet or smartphone, and they even do repairs. So maybe something is acting up with your phone and you don't know who to turn to. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the place to go to, and they even have very convenient cell phone classes. So maybe you're behind on the whole smartphone phenomenon and you want to catch up.
I'll be back in about a minute.
Know about it for your new job, or you just want to fit in with all the cool kids. Head on over to Simply Prepaid of Gulfport and they can hook you up with some good classes. If you tell them that Ryan Hoppe sent you, You can get a free gift with any repair or activation. And now you're probably wondering, how can I get in contact with such a great deal? They are at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. And if you don't know where Gulfport Boulevard South is, trust me, it's not hard. When you cross 49th Street going west,
36 seconds and counting.
Avenue South, it becomes Gulfport Boulevard. So it's not hard to find. It's very convenient. And trust me, Patrick and everybody at Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, they're reliable, they're humble, and they are there to help you out. If you want to call them, it's not hard. It's 727-331-1934. That is 727-331-1934. I'm a man of my word. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the best in the Bay.
Tweet Hoppy at Ryan Hoppy Radio. Email him, ryan@hoppyradio.com, and give him a nice, sexy Snapchat at Hoppy Radio.
All right, call the show. The phone lines are open right now. 856-49-HOPPY. I take your calls. All right, I don't want to dwell on this next topic very long because I find it to be one of the most pathetic and lazy and just uncreative headlines and news articles I've maybe seen all year. And this comes from the Daily Mail, a website I like. They wrote 5 paragraphs about it and had over 20 pictures because Barack Obama's daughter wore a shirt that said "Smoking Kills." And she supposedly was caught, as they say, smoking a suspicious cigarette in Chicago a month ago. Oh my God! Heaven forbid she live a little. Heaven forbid she do what she wants because she's been trapped in the White House since she was 10 years old and didn't really grow up like a normal kid. Heaven forbid one of the most known kids, because her dad is the leader of the free world. Heaven forbid she experiment a little and live a life. And you know why she wore that "Smoking Kill" shirt? Because she knew that people were going to talk about her. And I'm sure Obama's a little mad, but he's out of the office in 2 months, 4 months. What does he care? I find it funny that the British media thought this was such a big deal. Oh my God, no way! Barack Obama's daughter is 18 years old and beginning to have fun in life? No! Oh no! It's just like when they ripped into Jenna Bush and her sis, like 12 years ago when they were at that party and there was those pictures of them. Yeah. I just don't get the whole point where when you don't have anything to write about for that day and you're out of ideas, you go with the clickbait of, oh my God, no way. Barack Obama's daughter is smoking weed potentially, and then she has a shirt on that trolls us. She's doing it because she wants the attention. And if you guys are so outraged by it, and you're so confused and you can't believe that it's real life, realize that she did that on purpose. I also saw this in the news. Lena Dunahm from Girls on HBO is just a really annoying person. And I don't hate on celebrities as much because I find the Kardashians to be amusing because they make money off of sex and they embrace it, and their brother-in-law or their husband with Kanye West, he just says whatever he wants and the world freaks out. But there is something about Lena Dunahm that makes me sick to myself. She has this entitlement and this attitude where her crap doesn't smell and she's great and we should all be paying attention to her and my show is really good, even though it's kind of like the red-headed brother of HBO with all the shows that are on. Not many people watch it. Enough people watch it, but it's not a show that's talked about at work. She always seems like she has to go with these outrageous claims and these outrageous nude shots because she just wants attention. And it's like, what are you doing? Okay, Odell Beckham Jr., if you don't watch football, He's the guy that had that crazy catch 2 years ago, and he plays on the Giants in New York City. And they were at this event, this party. And Lena Dunahm said that she got really mad because she supposedly went up to Odell Beckham and she tried to begin talking to him or trying to converse with him or say hi, and he ignored her. She's acting like, she's sort of acting like we should be paying attention to her, like we should know who she is, like she's queen of the world. Odell Beckham isn't in the demographic of watching girls, Lena Dunahm. Do you think Odell Beckham, after a long day at work, do you think Odell Beckham, after a game, he doesn't go out and hang out with his friends? He doesn't go home and try and get laid or relax. He goes, let me give my DVR open if we have one, or let me go on HBO Go and watch the latest episode of Girls. It's just this entitlement that she has that we should know who she is, especially if you're a football player. Shut up. Lena Dunahm tiptoed around an actual expression of regret on Friday for those comments she made about Odell Beckham. The 30-year-old actress went on Facebook to post that she was sorry to the 23-year-old player for accusing him of snubbing her and making her feel like a marshmallow. What does that even mean? When somebody ignores you, you might feel bad, or you might feel like you got ignored, or that you're alone. I've never heard of somebody getting shunned at a party, and they go, oh man, I feel like a marshmallow. Maybe it's just me. And she says that she is very insecure and a narcissist. Like I said, she needs to make the attention about her. She needs to seem like she's greater than life because she's on a show on HBO that's pretty good. She's good enough to be on TV. She's good enough to be on HBO. But it's kind of the red-headed brother of HBO with Game of Thrones, Entourage, Soprano, The Wire, Ballers, Vice Principals, The Night Of, True Blood, Oz, with all the shows that have been out, Boardwalk Empire, even Vinyl. All these shows come out, and they get really popular, and Girls seems like it has more of a cult fan base, and it seems like she needs to have people know, I'm on HBO! Despite my moments of bravado, I am not good at events within the business, with the sense that I don't rep a certain amount of beauty. Well, that's your fault then. You got to believe in yourself. You have a big net worth. You're famous. You're on a TV show. That doesn't mean that because you're self-conscious that you can treat people badly. I'm awkward in public. I get nervous at times. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go up to someone at a party and be like, do you know who I am? I have a little podcast in Tampa Bay, and I work in promotions at 102.5 The Bone, and I'm on air occasionally. Please know who I am. When you have to name drop who you are, you're really not that big. And I'm not saying Lena Dunahm isn't big. I'm just saying the fact that she expects Odell Beckham to know who she is. Maybe if it was The Rock, or if it was somebody from The Sopranos, or let's say anybody from Game of Thrones, maybe it would make sense that she would be outraged that people don't know who she is. But, come on. You're going to be really mad about that? It says here, I feel terrible about it because after listening to lots of criticism, I see how it is very much rude to have those thoughts. She's just talking out her ass. She's just trying to say she's sorry because she's embarrassed about what she did. And she's trying to say she's sorry because it makes her look really bad. And her PR team is like, what are you doing? Shut your mouth. There's not much left to the article. It just says that she felt like a marshmallow in a dog. If I get shunned by a girl at a bar, I don't feel like a dog. I don't feel like a marshmallow. You might feel a little insecure or nervous or thrown off or you feel awkward. But if I've ever been shunned anywhere, and I'm trying to think of a moment that I've been shunned, I've never been at a party and went, oh my God, I feel like a marshmallow. Oh my God, I'm a dog. What does that even mean? Call the show if you have some idea. 856-49-HOPPY. That's 856-49-HOPPY. This is even better. She goes on to say, it's my sense of humor which has kept me alive for 30 years. It's not an assumption or expectation of sexual attention. Huh? I'm not ripping into her looks at all. She's a very handsome woman. She can look sort of pretty if she's dressed up well. Like in this pic for the event, she's not a bad-looking girl. She's attractive. She's good enough to be on TV. She's not ugly. But it really sounds like she lacks confidence, and she had a crush on Odell Beckham and wasn't able to get his attention, so then she comes off very rude online because she's self-conscious. She went on to say on Twitter, Odell Beckham is talented, handsome, seems super awesome, and wasn't into chatting with me at a fancy party. Seems like it'd be a lot easier if he were to say he's sorry. Huh? It's just this entitlement that we should know who she is and that you need to come over here. I'm actually surprised that she knows who Odell Beckham is. He's a big enough name in football, but it's just odd that she actually is like, please pay attention to me. It's not like it's Tom Brady or it's Peyton Manning. He's a big enough name. He's good. I wish the Bears had him. I'm just saying, it's very odd that she got mad over that. All right, here's the deal. We're going to come back on Hoppe Hour, and we're going to wrap everything up. But first, call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That's 856-49-HOPPY, and I will be sure to take your calls. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. And the other thing that you can do is chat me live via my app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio. We will be right back on Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Hoppe Hour podcast. And I'm here today to talk about my new sponsor, Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, which carries T-Mobile, Go Smart Mobile, Simple Mobile, and Ultra Mobile services. All of their plans are no contract, so you don't have to worry about that. And they are powered by the T-Mobile network. They have an unlimited plan for any budget. So maybe you're behind on bills and you don't have a lot of money right now, but you want to have an unlimited plan. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the place to go to. You can bring in your own device or take advantage of their large assortment of handsets. If you bring in your old device from another carrier, you can get a free phone with no contract if you transfer your number from the other carrier. So that is one of the most badass features about them. One of the best things about Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is they carry a full assortment of accessories for your tablet or smartphone, and they even do repairs. So maybe something is acting up with your phone and you don't know who to turn to. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport.
I'll be back in about 1 minute. Hang on.
They even have very convenient cell phone classes. So maybe you're behind on the whole smartphone phenomenon and you want to catch up. Maybe you need to know about it for your new job, or you just want to fit in with all the cool kids. Head on over to Simply Prepaid of Gulfport and they can hook you up with some good classes. If you tell them that Ryan Hoppe sent you, you can get a free gift with any repair or activation. And now you're probably wondering, how can I get in contact with such a great deal? They are at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. And if you don't know where Gulfport Boulevard South is, trust me, it's not hard. When you cross 49th Street going west on the 22nd Avenue South, it becomes Gulfport Boulevard. So it's not hard to find. It's very convenient. And trust me, Patrick and everybody at Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, they're reliable, they're humble.
All right, I'll be back in about 20
to
seconds.
help you out. If you want to call them, it's not hard. It's 727-331-1934. That is 727-331-1934. I'm a man of my word. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the best in the Bay.
NBA D-League coaches, nationally syndicated radio hosts, TV writers, comedians, You never know who will call in a happy hour.
All right, we're about to wrap everything up. Call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That's 856-49-HOPPY. And now, I'm not a guy that does sports analysis, so you're not going to hear me break down the numbers of the former field goal kicker for the Chicago Bears, Robbie Gould, as he got released from the team. And you're not going to hear me break down his 11 years on the Chicago Bears, more than a decade. But I am a die-hard fan of the Bears. I love Chicago. I love watching them every Sunday. Robbie Gould has some really cool field goal wins and clutch shots to either put us up by like 10, 2 possessions, or to win us in overtime or to tie the game. Robbie Gould will always be one of my favorite players. But he's also 34 years old, and the team's in rebuilding mode. And what I love is Chicago Bear fans, Chicago fans in general, and I'm not trying to rip into you. I'm from Chicago. I love the Bears, the Bulls, the Cubs. I kind of like the Hawks because my dad liked them. But you guys freak how you're schizophrenic with how you view somebody. Last year, I would see tweets and I would see mean things. Robbie's not good as Gould. We got to get rid of Robbie Gould. Oh, this franchise sucks. Oh, my God, I hate Robbie Gould. Oh, my God. But then when he gets released, no! Why did the Bears get rid of him? No! Why did the McCaskies get rid of him? What are you doing? The one thing I will say is, them getting rid of him this close to the beginning of the season shows that the whole organization has no idea what they're doing. But they also run a professional team, and we're just sport fans that watch them every Sunday while sitting on our butt, eating chicken wings on the couch, or playing fantasy sports, so we know nothing. We don't know the inside details. The other thing I love, too, is when they had the official link on the Facebook page about Robbie Gould getting released, immediately, I kept refreshing it last night because I was here running the board from 10 to 6, so I had plenty of time. And the amount of people, the diehard meatball fans from Chicago, and I love Chicago, I will always defend it, but the diehard fans that are going, why did we get rid of him? But we kept Cutler. God, we need to get rid of Cutler instead. No, not Jay Cutler. Huh? I think we've kept on to Jay Cutler way too long. We've given him way too many contracts, and the Bears are afraid to move on because he was supposed to be the big thing when we got him in the spring of 2009, and he was supposed to be the next thing. We traded him for Kyle Orton. But it's not that simple to just go, bye, Jay. You can't just rip up a contract and move on. It takes more than that. So I love these Bear fans that think they know the inside scoop on what's going on. And they're like, rip it up. Just get rid of Jay and find that quarterback that's better than him. Jay will never, ever lead the Bears to the Super Bowl. I will dye my hair orange if the Chicago Bears win the Super Bowl this year. There you go. At 58 minutes and 48 seconds into the show on September 5th on Labor Day in 2016, mark this down. If Jay Cutler goes on to have a miracle season and leads the Bears to win the Super Bowl, I will dye my hair orange. I'm proving the point that it's not that easy just to get rid of him. And now who else are we going to get? Who's our backup? We've seen over the years when we had Todd Collins and Caleb Haney and all these backups. There was that Jason guy, I forget, the one that was on Oakland. We had all these different players. Jay's a douchebag. I've seen him in person. He's not very likable. But at the same time, it's what we have. And until we get rid of him, deal with it. Call the show, 856-49-HOPPY. It is 856-49-HOPPY. All right. It's been a Labor Day, you know. I know you guys are sad that Hoppe Hour is ending. I hope that my rants today expanded your mind. And I hope that my rants today gave you some sort of entertainment on this day off, you know. when I assume you're watching the show on your iPad or your iPhone or on your computer, and you got your beer cracked open because it's called Hoppe Hour, so I want you to drink during it. But just have one beverage. Don't get messed up so you remember what I say. And you go, ah, man, that was quite a show by Hoppe. Ah, man, where can I listen to him? I like his show live, or I hate it, but I want to spread the word and hate on it anyway on social media. How can I find more of this riveting show? Guess what? Now's the time I'm going to let you know about that.
To end, but first, it's time for last call.
Ow! 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 Ow, I just heard myself. Ow. All right. If you want to listen to Hoppe Hour anywhere in the world, I promise you it's not rocket science. It's not trigonometry. It doesn't take much work. Get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio, and you can listen anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, or you're in Tampa Bay, Gary, Indiana, or Cleveland, or Chicago. I saw that we had record number listens in London. I have no idea why 10% of my listens came from London. But if anybody is listening to the show live right now in London or on demand, tweet at me. I will add you back. I'm fascinated that London has been listening. We've had record-breaking numbers in Cleveland as well. So tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Email me, ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. And even though the show is over with now, you can call me and leave me a voicemail, and I will be sure to air it. I will be sure to play it as long as it makes sense. 856-49-HOPPE. That's 856-49-HOPPE. Hoppe Hour has been brought to you by Simply Prepaid of T-Mobile. 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South in Gulfport. Call them at 727-331-1934. It's 727-331-1934. If you go there and say that I sent you, you can talk to Tony Spinney and Patrick McVicker and Ryan in the tech department. They will hook you up with some great deals. Get the Hoppe Hour decals by going to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. It's tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. Brought to you by my guy Nicholas Seymour of Duluth, Minnesota, and Soul Leaf Graphics. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Hoppe Hour.